Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. This is Stamford Chidge, and this is normally the Chelsea FanCast preview show. It is still the Chelsea FanCast preview show because it is Friday, but we did play a game on Wednesday night, and I couldn't resist this as a title. So here goes. Ice cold in Amex.
Oh, Chidge. Oh.
I thought you'd like that. I thought you'd like that. There you go.
Only you and I would probably get that. But
it's one for the teenagers, isn't it, really,
yeah.
as they say? Yeah. Anyway, Ice Cold and Amex, Chelsea FanCast number 1137. As I said, I am Stamford Chidge. It is the preview show, really, and I am joined by Jonathan Kydd.
But Johnny Mills would be proud of you.
He would. He used to live down the road from the bridge, didn't he?
Yeah, but he also, he had a season ticket in the East Stand, great English actor. And, of course, Sylvia Sims, who used to live around the corner. From
still
me.
My beating heart.
Oh.
And her even lovelier daughter, Beatty Edney.
I didn't know her. I knew Sylvia. Yeah. But anyway, yes,
more impressive, really, knowing Sylvia, to be honest.
And no, she was cantankerous latterly.
Was she?
She was.
I'd have cheered her up. Know what I mean?
Oh, I don't actually. Could you explain in graphic detail?
I would have sung the Arthur Askey Bee song to her.
Yes, I'm a busy bee, but you can't catch me. Sting who you like, but don't catch me. My mate used to go to Brentford with a cardboard bee on a stick that he made. On a stick, he used to go with this. Yeah. Come on, you bees. Come on, you bees, he would say.
They're not normal. They are not normal. Anyway, who have we got on the show tonight, JK?
No one. It's just you and me. Can't
is it? Okay, let's carry on then.
That gag anymore, can we? Because he is.
We can't.
There
Bloody television's ruined everything, mate.
Ruined everything. We knew it had. Those the era of the steam valve radio. Oh, that was such fun. But no, it's lovely to see him from the very beginning. It is the excellent Dayne Whittle. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah,
it's turned into the Goon Show, mate, hasn't it? Fuck's sake!
You don't even see the preview either. The preview of the preview.
How are you, mate? Lovely to see you. You're right. Very special on the last preview show of the season, mate.
Aren't I the lucky one? Yeah. Good evening, everyone, live on YouTube, Mixler, and future downloads for the podcast. Yeah, I'm good. Really nice to see you too. Obviously, seeing JK with my towel between my legs because I've turned him down twice now.
Not many people have done that.
Hey, that's a good point, Dave. Mate, I haven't been to sit with you this season, have I?
No.
Have I? I haven't, have I?
I've asked you.
Mean, I know, no. To be fair, you have asked me several times. I know that. But I've not managed to make it there. I feel bereft. I've got no more chances left to come and sit with you.
You might have Sunday. I haven't heard back from the person I asked. So I might just ask you, but then you might be available. You might be teasing me. You might be flirting with me.
I warn you now, I have a very, very, very busy drinking day on Sunday. In fact,
a very hectic schedule. I know.
I warn you even more now. I am getting the train.
Oh God, that means you'd be completely pissed if you came in anyway. You'd be pissed by the time you started. You wouldn't even turn up in time. Well, then there'd be free drink. Oh my God.
We know what this means. If I'm getting the train, it's going to be trouble. Anyway, we'll get on with the show in a minute. We're all looking forward to it tonight. I can tell. There's a buzz in the air. Right. Okay. So what happens next? Oh, I know. Yeah, I could tell you about Mixler, couldn't I? Yeah, we're all live. Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of do this thing on the telly.
I haven't said live yet. Live.
I haven't got there yet. That's why.
Oh, okay, that's why. Oh, good.
Yeah. Look,
one of the reasons it's very buzzy is because we appear to be playing rather well at the moment.
I know. Anyway, as ever, do not forget you can watch the show. You can watch JK chatting away to himself. You can watch the show on YouTube or Facebook live. That's right. Every time we do it, which is we do the preview show on a Friday night at 7:30. We tend to do the Monday night show at 7:30 as well. Apart from, of course, when we don't. We do it on other days if we can't do it on the Monday or the Friday. Now, at the same time, as always, you can listen to this on Mixler, which is a wonderful internet streaming service. We've been doing it on Mixler now for over 10 years, I believe. Goodness gracious me. To find us there, it's chelsea-fancast.mixlr.com. Great thing about that, both the YouTube, Facebook, and Mixler, is that they all have chat rooms. So you can sit there yabbering away to each other or sending us messages, which occasionally we will read out, even put them on screen occasionally. We have the technology. It's very exciting. Now, for those of you who can't watch us live, do not worry. We always release this as the good old-fashioned original, the OG podcast, which comes out sometime tonight once I've had a chance to edit and publish it. Now, that's available on all your usual podcast providers like Acast, Spotify, Apple, all the rest of them. Just subscribe to them. Leave us a very lovely 5-star review, of course. That's the deal. And you can follow us on all the socials at Chelsea FanCast. Now, you may have heard me mention the chat facility on YouTube, Facebook, and Mixler. Well, that kind of gave rise to us wanting to have a Discord group, and that kind of also coincided with us having a Patreon account, which I'll be honest with you is just an easy way for me to grift money from you for doing bugger all apart from doing the podcast. I know it's disgraceful. Disgraceful, isn't it, JK?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am ashamed. I am. There is a large part of me, actually, that is ashamed, which is why I'm always very self-deprecating when I read this bit out. You know, it's like I'm getting the begging bowl out, but I'm really ashamed of it.
You're self-deprecating all the way to the bank.
Indeed, that's absolutely true. Anyway, if you want to be a sucker and actually pay for a Patreon account with the Chelsea FanCast and expect premium content, you will be disappointed. But if you just want to be kind and generous and appreciative of what we do, then you will bung a few quid our way. And to do that, it is patreon.com/Chelsea FanCast. Now,
can we have an addendum, Chidge? Can we have an addendum to the Patreon, which is give money to Jonathan's Kickstarter campaign for his book?
Oh, yes. Yes. Why don't we put that on Patreon? Post it on Patreon.
Yeah.
And Discord. Why don't you, in fact, bother to join the Discord group and take part in it? Because everybody loves you. And they say, where's Jonathan?
Well, I keep forgetting. You know, there are so many things I'm supposed to be doing, like even putting the fan bite up on Instagram, Dayne.
YouTube.
I know. But it takes me so long to put it up on TikTok.
Send it to me.
I know.
It's not hard, mate. And if you send it to me, I will put it on YouTube and Patreon.
Yes, okay. I've got it now. Let's write it down. Send to Chidge first. Send to Chidge first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will do it. So there we go. Anyway, look. Patreon.com/Chelsea FanCast. If you do join, you will become a member of the Discord group. So if you want, I'll send you the link. And the other thing is, if you want one, you don't have to have one, but it's available should you want it. We call it, we've nicked this idea off the London is Blue boys. It's an exclusive welcome gift, which goes quite well. I mean, in a sense, you know, Patreon is an exclusive welcome grift.
Oh,
so
Oh, my God.
So it kind of makes sense. But no, you will get a Kerry Dixon mini. Thank you, JK. Thank you. Yeah, you get a mini Kerry Dixon banner, which is a rep for the one that hangs in the Matthew Harding. So there you go. Now, just so we complete our grifting element of the show. Actually, no, this is what we would call fungible as opposed to non-fungible. This is a fungible asset. There you go. Not me. I am definitely not a fungible asset.
I think you need to be, Chidge. I think you should start. I think you need if we have a T-shirt with just your mug on it.
Okay. What you mean? You mean these mugs?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, we'll do the mugs in a minute. Basically, yeah. Look, there are people who are yet to be discovered on the Amazon rainforest who know that we have produced these rather lovely, fetching, as proved by the beautiful model to our left, T-shirts, which basically say, if they sell Connor, we riot. Now, for those of you who don't understand the English sense of humor, that might not actually be meant literally. It might be a metaphor, you know, that we will be rather upset. Okay? So don't take it literally. It's a bit of a joke, but it's not a joke that we don't want them to sell Connor, because we don't want them to sell Connor because we think he's bloody marvellous. Anyway, if you want to show your support for Connor and sport one of these fine T-shirts, and the mugs, of course. As I said, you saw pictures of the mug a minute ago. There you go, beautiful mugs. What you do is you basically, I think the easiest thing to do is to email email the Chelsea special at gmail.com, or just check out our website, which is chelseafancast.com/category/merchandise. But the bottom line is the mugs and the T-shirts are available as follows: 25 quid in the UK. This all includes postage and packing. 28 quid in Europe, 30 quid in North America. The mugs are 15 quid, 18 quid, and 20 quid. And as I said, if you basically email the Chelsea Special at gmail.com, tell us the size T-shirt you want, whether it's a woman's or a man's. You must give us your address, otherwise we don't know where to send it to. And then you pay via PayPal to the same email address, the Chelsea Special at gmail.com. Choose the friends and family option. Very important you do that, otherwise we get stung with fees that we don't want. And then we will send you a T-shirt and or a mug. You need to tell us whether it's a blue or a white mug. That's the only thing I would tell you about mugs. Takes about a couple of weeks to get to you, so I am led to believe once I have processed the order, which means I collect them all at the end of the week and send them off to Tim. And then they are done. Right, we are done. No more grifting, no more plugging, pure football, 150% all the way from now. Well, there we go. Chelsea, indeed. So we played Bournemouth on Wednesday night. I had the rather weird experience. Do you know what? I'd had a busy day. I was fanning about doing things. I couldn't be asked. What?
Brighton. You said we played Bournemouth on Wednesday.
Did I? Well, I'm a bit, demob happy. Thank you for spotting the deliberate mistake.
I do apologise to interrupt your flow, but we
no.
And felt you were going on a strange tangent.
I confused you. You thought I was doing the preview bit, didn't you?
I feel like I did.
Yes. You're sitting there screaming, hang on a minute. What happened to part 1 and 2?
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know you. Anyway,
you
it's Brighton.
Reversed everything and anything.
I might.
Presser at the very end,
I've done that before, to be fair. I have done that before.
You've forgotten.
I know. Anyway, look. Yeah, Brighton. I mean, as I said, busy day, yada, yada, yada. I couldn't even be asked to go and find the stream. I just couldn't be bothered because it's just such ball ache finding an illegal stream to watch the football. So do you know what I did? I listened to the wireless.
No.
I listened to the wireless. Yes.
Oh, God,
the radio.
what was it like?
It wasn't too bad, actually. They didn't have any annoying commentators or pundits on, which was quite thankful. So I listened to it, which was rather an interesting experience. And then, bless their hearts, Sky had the decency to put the half-hour highlights on straight afterwards. So I watched that. So it's kind of weird to not watch the match. But first thing, JK, is we're up to 6th in the league. Who'd have thought that a mere 6 weeks ago, even?
It has changed our whole perspective on the season, hasn't it?
Hasn't it just?
It has completely. It's changed everybody's assessment of the manager. It's changed everybody's assessment of the players, rightly so, because the players have really pulled it out. I think there's no coincidence that Fernandes hasn't been playing. I think some players have excelled themselves in the last 4 games, and it's meant consequently that Poch is sort of strangely self-effacingly arrogant, which is a nice combination of things to be. But he's sort of saying, "Told you so. I'm just doing my job here." And as I will be getting on with it a bit late, telling you a bit later on, the press conference was bizarrely a laugh-a-minute fest with him giggling and telling tales of his wife. But
I mean, without teasing it, I did notice that actually I didn't realize that you are actually married to Mauricio Pochettino, because he says, my wife often says to me when she's watched the press conference, I don't understand a word of what you're saying. And I thought, it's Jonathan Kydd. You're married to Jonathan, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I don't think I'd like to be. It would be a Catholic environment. I don't think I want to be surrounded by images of the Virgin Mary. Thank you. It's not quite my world. But sorry, I don't wish to be offensive to anybody who's a fan.
I'm a Catholic. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you. I'm not being offensive. I just think you're mad. But but also relying on icons and imagery that you can you not cope with the world without. It's just. But anyway, sorry, I've got suddenly very sensitive material here.
Yeah, address all hate mail to at Jonathan Kydd on X.
No. I understand your desire for a crutch. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But yeah. No, everybody, you have to respect everybody's religion. But where are we? Yes. I find it. It was like Mob happy environment because we were playing so well, and because it was the best we'd played at the Amex for several seasons. It was joyous beyond belief to see us. But just the confidence in the team was absolutely bizarre, considering only a few weeks ago we were drubbed 5-0 by the arse. But then Poch had a big reason for that in the press conference once again, and he feels vindicated. It's really interesting. He feels vindicated by what he's been doing all season.
Yeah.
So
he should.
Well, the very fact that they have put it together, and you see, well, actually, we get it. We get what he's up to. So, but yeah, there was a fabulous series of moments, which was actually, I'm afraid, fucked up by Reece James. More of that later. But when we were doing Olays because we were so in control, and the away end were obsessed with some poor large man Brighton supporter who I'm not allowed to use the FAT word, so I will. Big boned bloke, yeah, big boned bloke. There was one occasion when everybody was singing "We want our fatty back" because he'd left in dismay, and everybody was also singing "He's texting his mum, he's texting his mum." Poor old fatty, he's texting his mum.
Do you know what we have? I think this is disgraceful. I think the Chelsea away supporters are clearly fattest.
They are,
because I remember at Crystal Palace away, there was some poor unsuspecting, well-proportioned gentleman who got dog's abuse for at least half an hour.
Yes, but it helps when you're winning, and we were winning and in control of the game. And unfortunately, Reece's madness shifted the emphasis. But we prevailed. So
I think we should talk to Dayne because he's combusting in laughter here, and therefore it's always a good cue for me to interrupt that. It's like when Jonathan's eating, I always then ask him a question, as he well knows.
Yeah, he does it. He gets in there.
I do. I'm a bastard like that.
Occasionally I eat deliberately, knowing that you'll ask me a question because
I know.
You ignored me.
I will.
If I start eating, he'll ask me a question.
Yeah. That's it. Do you know what? I hadn't thought of it like that. That's very smart of you. Well done.
Yeah, very much.
Dayne, once you've managed to compose yourself, I mean, we'll talk probably throughout the show about the fact that we're up to 6. Europe's on the, now a definite and everything else. I said on the show a couple of weeks ago, and they all looked at me like I was insane. Probably, not without justification. That it kind of the Villa game might be seen as a turning point in the same way that the second half against Arsenal at the Emirates was when we lost 3-0. And then we went on to win the title. We then won 15 games on the spin. Now, I said that before, I think, I can't remember when it was before, but I think maybe we'd won a couple. But we've now won 4 on the spin quite well. We've kept the winning run together, which is great. It is some turnaround, let's be honest, from where we were, because we were diabolical against Arsenal, Sheffield United and Burnley. What do you think of it all, mate? Because we haven't seen you for ages. It'd be lovely to hear what you think of what's been going on the past few weeks.
It's funny, isn't it? Because like many, probably 2 months ago, I couldn't wait for the season to end, to be honest. And now I think I don't want it to end. It's the best part that we've seen under the new ownership. Just coming to the end of their second season in charge. Worried they're going to get it wrong and fuck it up summer. That's for another show. It's probably no coincidence he's probably got 90% of his squad back which gives them a lot more options. You know, used to shout at the telly, or when we was in the stands, when we would see players who are not really playing well, then you'd think bring someone on, but then you'd look at the bench and it was a who's who of youth players, under 23 players with no experience, hardly any minutes, and obviously he wouldn't bring them on, which you could blame him for. Now, as I said, he's got 90% of his squad back. He's got options. If things are not going too well, he can change the system up. As we saw against Forest, didn't we? Like just over a week ago, you know, it wasn't great. It was a bit different. Then Gusto comes on, Reece comes on, Sterling comes on, Nkunku come on, you know, and they all actually added to the game, played really well. So I'm really impressed. I'm not going to get carried away, just like some of the performances I'm seeing from players like Cucurella and Badiashile, who I'm not forgetting how sort of average they were, but I'm willing to give them sort of the benefit of the doubt and see where we go from here. But yeah, it's a nice time. And to think that if Spurs do another Spursy and we could get fifth, that would be an amazing feat, considering a few months back we were 10 points, 10, 11 points behind United and Newcastle, and to be ahead of them going into the last game of the season against Bournemouth, who should be on the beach.
Dayne, we were talking about relegation very early on in the season.
Yeah, we got sucked in by that, and it's an amazing turnaround. And you know, JK's right. Poch, to an extent, has a little bit of a right to just say, well, you know, you should have believed me. You know, these class players like Nkunku, who looks an absolute class act when he's on the field, hasn't been available to him. Sterling hasn't been at his best. A trier, but hasn't been at his best. Reece, Chilwell, Petzley, these are quality Champions League winning players, haven't been available to him all season. And we can go for a list of all the others, but it's exciting times. I've just got this horrible feeling. Yeah, something's going to happen in the summer.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we? I mean, you mentioned quite a few players there, but I think we have to absolutely mention ice cold Palmer, given the title, who has been absolutely astonishing this season. He's now scored, JK, 25 goals this season. I mean, the last player to do that for us was Costa, to get over 20. I mean, even Frank wasn't hitting those heights at his age, or even Hazard, I think, when we had him. I mean, I'm not trying to say he's better than all of those players, because he's obviously a completely different player, but I just think it gives you an idea of how remarkable his scoring 25 goals so far has been this season. And remember, it's his first season, and remember, he's been playing in a team that's been struggling. And that header, JK, I mean, you were there. Tell me what it was like from where you were.
Well, unfortunately, it was so far away.
It was at the other end, so you didn't fucking see it.
I just suddenly thought, who's that really small bloke we've got?
Oh my God, we've scored, you said. How did that happen?
No, it was, there's a really small bloke who's just headed the ball into the net. Who the fuck was that? Not realizing that he'd stooped down.
He stooped to conquer.
Yeah. What was also so awful was there was Kath was in front, and next to her was an aged man with white hair sitting down. And I said, who scored that? I said, it looked like he said, Palmer. I went, oh, okay, thanks very much. And on every occasion I said, what happened then? He would fill me in. And he just seemed to have, fantastic eyesight for somebody, A, sitting down, B, exactly the same distance practically. All he was 2 feet nearer the action than I was.
Maybe he's got bionic eyes or something.
And I was wondering whether he had built-in binoculars, in his glasses, because he was so good. And he said, don't get it wrong, because don't get it wrong on the fan bite, Jonathan.
Oh, lovely. How was Kath, by the way? How was Kath?
Kath is always Kath. You have to commend her wonderful fidelity, faithfulness to watching every single game. Is remarkable. But she comes laden with all the impedimenta, all the baggage of somebody who limps to every single game. She's got her crutch, she's got her bag, she's got she got her meal out halfway. I thought they've let her in with all of this, and she always sits in the front row, so she's obviously got a deal going with somebody. But good luck to her. She's like, Chelsea's her life, and you can't.
I can't say she's a national treasure. She's a Chelsea treasure, that's for sure. I mean, she really is such a character and such a fixture there. You're talking about Dog, I believe, her erstwhile partner.
No, I'm not. No, Dog's on the right. No, this was another.
Oh,
chap.
okay.
This was another chap. This
right.
was a chap
I can now admit that Mark Meehan texted me that, so I thought I'd be really clever and say, "Oh, it's Dog JK." So
yeah, no, I saw
Mark stitched me up, hasn't he?
Yeah. No, Dog was next to her. This was another chap with white hair. No, different white hair, because Dog looks slightly dog-like. I'm sorry to be a little bit rude about it.
Why he's called Dog, isn't he?
Not being rude about it. Indeed, probably, yeah, because he looks a bit, he might go for you. He might at one stage snap at your legs. Whereas this chap was rather avuncular and large of stomach and just kept turning around and then was laughing. I was going, "What happened there?" He said, "Well, what happened? It was actually a tackle in the corner." I go, "Well, thank you very much. Thanks for explaining everything, because I clearly couldn't fucking see anything up the other end at all." Yeah. But none of us could. Well, I kept saying, "What? How good?" And people, I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't. It's too far away. But what I wanted to say about Palmer was that what you have to forget, it's all very well he scores 25 goals as well. But at the beginning of the season, we were saying, why the fuck they haven't bought we need a Fabregas. We need somebody as competent to run the game. We need a star. And we had one all along, and it's him.
And we didn't even know. We
had no clue. And he was the fourth choice. And because we tried to buy Elise, we tried to buy Gordon, we tried to buy the Arsenal player, Smith Rowe. We tried to buy Garnacho, whatever his name is, from United. We tried to buy all of those fantastic players. Something you've got to give to Winstanley and Fishface, that they are.
Well, not if he was the fourth choice.
No, but
Joe Shields got Palmer in.
No, indeed, you're right. They didn't choose him. But anyway, the very fact that he has become. I mean, I was watching him on one occasion. He did a kind of sort of strange pirouette with the ball. There was somebody just waiting to tackle him, and he was doing a kind of Charlie Cook thing of just balancing either way on either foot to go past him. And he pointed at the ball with his foot and sort of waggled it like that, as if to say, "I'm going to go right, I'm going to go left, I'm not going to put it through your legs." And you could see the bloke going, "I don't know what he's going to do here." And I thought, he is completely phenomenal. He is a phenomenal footballer. We have stumbled upon, whether it was a fluke, whether it was done, as you say, by Joe Shields, whether we have ended up with somebody who, if he doesn't get injured, he had a bandage on by the end of the game, doesn't get injured, is our talismanic midfield general, generalissimo, brilliantly talented individual. He is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. Now, what you've got to do, as we said, not build a team around him, but you've got to find all the others working in tandem with him. If it means that they get somebody else up front, which I hope they do, if it means that they change it a bit, let's not change it so that it fucks around with the balance that they've been creating at the moment. But who knows, as we say, who knows? But at the moment, this player is, I wouldn't want to say genius, don't want to say world class, but thank fuck we've got somebody who ticks all the boxes in that area, because it's been a brilliant evolution for a player we didn't know anything about. He was a substitute at the beginning, and he's just been phenomenal.
And he's now been named the young player of the year, hasn't he, Dane? But I want to pick up on something you were saying. I mean, we'll talk about what happened to Mudryk in a minute or two, but as a consequence, Nkunku came on a lot earlier, I suspect, than Poch wanted. But I think it's safe to say. I mean, Jonathan and I were saying on Monday that, well, you still haven't really seen what all the fuss is about yet. But I think we're beginning to see the kind of player that we were excited about and bought, and his goal was fucking superbly put away. I mean, not only that, I mean, the build up to it. I mean, Gabriel here nails it. I mean, there you go. 28 passes from defence to attack and down both wings. I mean, it was a superb team goal, but a beautiful finish by Nkunku. He looks a player, doesn't he, Dane?
Yeah, and he was involved quite a few times in that. If you look back, I saw it a couple of times on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and thoroughly watched for 28 passes, as was mentioned. And Nkunku is involved in a lot of that. And it's funny, when it was getting to the 20s, he's over on the left. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to have to run in the middle in a minute and spread it around, switch play. Ball puts in, and he puts it in beautifully. All his the few goals he has scored for us has been taken really well. I think he frees up a lot of the other forwards as well. He frees up Jackson, Madueke. Had a fairly good game, not as good as his standards have been recently. But he just gives us a different dimension, doesn't he? You know, I don't even know what we can label him as. He's a forward player, you know, whether it's through the middle, whether it's from the left, or as a number 10. I think Cole Palmer would be happy to have him by his side as well. Because sometimes, you know, there's an arrogance and ignorance to Cole Palmer, not in a bad way. I use that as a good way because all the best players need that to be successful. And you can sometimes see he can get frustrated with his with a pass to a fella teammate, which a teammate doesn't maybe deal with. And actually, should have put Nkunku through in the second half. But yeah, it's only going to benefit us. And listen, again, without getting carried away, you know, we've been in these little situations with Nkunku a few times this season, and we think, here we go, and we've all seen what's happened. So hopefully we get him through this last game. He hasn't been called up to France. He has a good summer, a good pre-season, and he comes fit and firing with, hopefully, like JK said, I believe as well, a new striker.
Well, indeed. I mean, he can certainly finish, can't he, JK? There's no doubt about that. I mean, that was a sublime finish. Yeah.
What I love about him is that he actually has Palmer's ability, which is that he sneaks it in. You know, it's not just he has a shot from an angle that you think normally somebody would have to move it into. Well, particularly early on in the season, everybody would take another touch. He doesn't need another touch. He really is clinical from wherever he is. So consequently, the goalkeeper is frequently taken by surprise. I mean, that was just a first-time pass to the corner, but the goalkeeper didn't stand a chance because his vision was so good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's why I mentioned it, because my
Charlie Cook, mate. Yeah. Lovely.
But also the thing that he would do would be to dance on the spot, Charlie, with the ball just then. Yeah. And, I remember I tried to do that when I played for our Wolf Cubs team, and I'd occasionally do well. And then you'd get some bloke who would just ignore my skipping over the ball and just kick it really hard between my legs. And
that would have been me. You know, I'd have been, you know, the Ron Harris to your Charlie Cook, mate.
Yeah, you'd have come. Well, no, I hope you'd be on the same side as me, Chidge, rather than.
Well, you know, I didn't stop me. I used to do that to people in training.
Well, you were one of those, were you? Okay.
That was one of my best mates. He was my next door neighbour. Thought he could take the piss because he had longer legs than me, and he flew down the left wing. And I launched into the air and 2-footed him in the thigh, and he just went head over heels. Like,
he would have done, but did he then go head over heels and stand up and then belt you one around the mush?
No, he didn't try it again.
He went to hospital. That's probably what.
That's
happened.
Right. That's why. Yeah, he had 2 broken legs. No.
It was your John Hartson to his who was that poor boy who got punched kicked in the head?
For us, didn't he? Benayoun.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Benayoun. No, it was.
No. Oh, it was. Yes. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Benayoun.
It was. It was so too.
No, actually, you might be right. It's a similar looking player with dark hair.
Really cultured, curly-haired bloke who played for West Ham, and I can't remember his name. It wasn't Benayoun.
I think he was Israel. I'm sure he was.
Yeah, he was, but it wasn't. It was he was. Yeah, I can't remember. Anybody remember on?
I'm sure they'll tell us in a minute, or I'll get a text from Mark Meehan, no doubt. So there we go. Right, the one real blemish of the evening was a total blemish. Begovic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I accept that you are right. Right. The one blot on the evening was a massive blot as far as I'm concerned. We were absolutely praising him to the hilt on Monday night after his incredibly brilliant cross for Jackson to score, and saying he's world class. We've missed him. He's the captain. He's responsible. Everybody looks up to him. There's a lot of love for him. Yada yada yada. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to say this because I love him. And this is not the first time he's done this. It was stupid, unbelievably idiotic, fucking petulance to get sent off. And that is, I'm sorry, that is not becoming of a captain. It is not becoming of a captain at all, because as JK was alluding to earlier on, we shat our pants for the last 10 minutes and we're clinging on in a match that we'd had complete control of. And if Reece James had not done that, we wouldn't have been in that position. Totally irresponsible, stupid in the extreme. And I'm sorry, I love the guy, but that's fucking ridiculous. Shouldn't happen, period. What do you say, boys?
Dayne.
Yeah, first and foremost, him missing time, I'm not as bothered anymore because of how how well Gusto has played and how impressed I am with him. But you are right. We were in such a good position in that game, dominated for long periods, deservedly 2-0 up. Could have been a little bit more. We opened them up quite a few times. It's nice to see Reece come on. Such a naive decision. Why he has to? Is he trying to, show his masculinity? I don't know. He has
petulance, Dane. It's just Beckham did it. Remember, he got sent off against Simeone. His fucking sister did it, playing in the semi-final of the Women's World Cup. He's something in the fucking genes, mate.
He's a tough player who does like to stamp his authority on the opposition. We've seen it a few times. Sometimes he's got away with it. I can remember him doing one with Antonio with West Ham and sort of getting away with it. But you'd think he'd just be happy to be back. It was an awful decision. He put his team under immense pressure, which we didn't deserve. And this is the captain, show some freaking responsibility.
Well,
and now, look now, as I said, Gusto, well, good for Gusto. He's going to be fit and healthy. Hopefully he'll be starting the next 3 games for next season, and Reece will be sitting in the stands thinking, it's a long summer, isn't it, as well, and you get through it all, and to think you're already banned for that first 3 games is just stupid. To think the amount of games he's played this year and he's been sent off twice for stupidness, absolute stupidness.
Your sidekick is making a point here. How long have this is Dean Mears? Who Dean? I'm joking. How long have we been moaning that the team is too nice and there's no bosses? Deserves a round of applause. Here's the thing, Dean. If Reece had got sent off, if Reece had got sent off for 2-footing a big hairy ass defender or forward from Brighton who was in a dangerous position, I would have applauded him all the way off the pitch. And I have done that before many a time. For a petulant fucking kick out at somebody because they've annoyed you is irresponsible and pathetic. It's not being mean. It's being stupid, in my humble opinion. JK?
I would add, they had a couple of snide players who were taking advantage of tackles here and tackles there. But listen, he still shouldn't have done it. But, that summed up Brighton players on that night.
They were snide. Well, we'll get onto that in a minute. But JK, final point on Reece James.
Well, he got it was a harsh tackle on him. In actual fact, I thought the tackle on him was worthy of something more. Did he get a yellow card, the guy who tackled him? I don't think he did, because I thought it, and he kicked out because he'd been fouled. Well, he'd obviously been hurt by the challenge, so he kicked out. But you can't condone any of that. It was just, as you say, it was just ridiculous, and it put
stupid,
and it put the team under enormous pressure. Yeah. And I was convinced they were going to score 2. In fact, I said so at the time. I said, for fuck's sake, they're really going to make a huge effort now. And what was so ridiculous was that nearly 3/4 of the crowd had left as well, which shows you what he put us through, because they had given up, thinking they're never going to get 2 goals back. And they went close on a couple of occasions, as well as Welbeck scoring. In fact, when Welbeck, I know that he was taken out from behind. I know, but he just come back.
We should read it out for those of you listening in black and white. Andrew Eldridge,
guys harsh on Reece. The guy was taken out from behind, which is what I said. It was a vicious tackle. Petulant, I know, but he's just come back from serious injury. Yes, but he should know better. He should know in this world.
Well, hang on, JK. He's the captain.
Not only that,
the captain.
Not only that, Chidge. It's also in the world of VAR. You're not going to get away.
You're not going to get away with it. No, exactly.
No. In the past, because the referee didn't give it. He didn't see it. He didn't. He thought it was fine. And also, what happens with VAR? We're going to talk about VAR later on, I hope.
Let's do it now. Do it now, because I thought VAR and the ref were a complete shit show all night.
Yeah, but of course they were. Of course they were. That seems to be part of the course. This is the kind of thing that needs to be dealt with for next season when it starts, because Wolves have put in this vote of no confidence with the Premier League. I don't think they're going to achieve the banning of VAR for the Premier League next season. There are too many things that are important with VAR, which is also all we'll be doing all season if there isn't any VAR, is looking at how bad the officials have been and how badly they've got it wrong, because that's what trial by television does. And then there'll be an enormous clamour for the return of VAR. But we know what they've got to do with VAR. They've got to have a dialogue with the people in Stockley Park that we are a party to, that we as the fans hear, which they do in rugby. and cricket's not the same, but in rugby, it's shown on the big screen. Everybody looks on the big screen. The referee debates it with an intelligent person the other end. They also need to have people who are purely dedicated to VAR, not somebody's mate who's doing it that week. They need to have a completely dedicated set of football referees doing VAR. There needs to be dialogue. And I think the pressure will be taken off next year because they'll have this automatic offside. So I think the linesman will start getting, the system referee will start getting involved more because they can look more at the pitch rather than having to run up and down as if their careers depended on it, looking for an offside when they see it, because that's what they've become, is just ball in and out of play and offside, and frequently not even ball in and out of play because they fucking get it wrong because they're not looking. They're looking for offside because it's so difficult because the pace of the game is enormous. So I'm all for the automation of everything. I'm all for VAR. It just needs to be done properly. It
needs to be administered by people who have a fucking Scooby and aren't idiots.
Yes, and aren't idiots, because they are all, I'm afraid the referees aren't intelligent enough to be able to deal with it. They either need to get a completely different set of people involved, or whether they get them in from abroad. I don't understand why.
There's no problem in Europe, is there?
None at all. Therefore, why not get a set of people running VAR from abroad? Get them to come in.
They're doing the one thing that they said they wouldn't do and were supposed not to do, which is to re-referee the bloody game. It happens every week. Dayne, here's a question for you. How on earth did they miss Tariq Lamptey forearm smashing Mudryk in the head, leaving him unconscious on the floor and concussed? How did they miss that?
Inconclusive footage.
Fuck off with that shit.
And I'm thinking of this as a Premier League ground, and the camera angle they were showing us on the stream was from a distance. But even it was the ex-Wimbledon striker who was commentary while I was at Efenakoku. He said, "Well, I don't need that."
Effing a cuckoo.
Yeah, he said it was exclusive enough for me. I could see it, and he was even saying that he should have been off.
Really,
bloody hell.
And Dayne, I think one of the problems is it's this what's the phrase they use? Obvious error.
Clear and obvious error.
Clear and obvious, yeah. Which is it's because of the status of the ref. They don't want to be undermining their pal, and it's absolutely rife all the way through. They don't want, if the pal goes, "Oh no, I can't. It's fine. It was fine," because he is the ref, and it's antiquated. It's like you're having your crap decision authenticated by your mate in the box at the other end, rather than the chap saying, "Actually, I've seen it, mate. I've seen it, my chum, my dear pal who I go drinking with.
My dear old thing.
I've seen it. You're not be able to see it because you weren't at the right angle." Now, what happens now is that the bloke goes, "Well, I didn't see anything. It's fine." And they go, "Okay, then we'll go with your decision." No, for fuck's sake. They've got another eye on it. You have to go with what they're saying. You don't make your own law. "I didn't see it. I'm fine." Taylor is the worst at that. Taylor, the other day, there was an obvious penalty and he just waved it away and nothing happened. They didn't, there was no VAR on it. And it was, what was it? It was Ashley Young on somebody in a game when he clearly fouled him. Well, I can't remember what was Villa against Villa saying, but I mean, it was an obvious foul from behind, but Taylor couldn't see it, just shook his head. And when we played on, it's because of their ego. They won't admit it. They need to work as a team. They need to have the guy in the box saying, "You've missed it. You've missed it. It was a penalty." And he then goes, "Oh, okay, then." He doesn't go, "I don't agree. I better go and look at the screen." "Oh, all right, then I'll give in to you." They need to be working as a team. It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, I agree.
Well, it's the inconsistency as well. You know, someone a few comments back mentioned the Romero on Colwell, which is practically exactly the same.
Yeah.
And going back to the Reece one, it's frustrating because you can kick out of someone when they run past you, and sometimes you'll be lucky just to get a yellow card. You kick out in that instance and you get a red card. It is frustrating. I wasn't even convinced about the goal as well for Jackson.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. What on earth was that disallowed for?
They didn't even show. They reckoned he pushed Lamptey in the back, but I never saw any footage that showed. And he looked, flabbergasted. He looked like, you could tell. Players aren't. Sometimes they're doing a sly little. Okay, yeah, I'd see if I get.
It's
away
a fair cop, Gov.
He genuinely looks like I hardly touched him. Touched him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe they got the cuckoo, the Poodles penalty right, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But why didn't they give us? Why didn't they give us a corner? we didn't ask. No one. We didn't appeal for it. Cucurella didn't appeal for it.
No.
Drop ball. It had to be a corner, absolutely. But once again, all it needs is for VAR to say it's a corner to the ref. But he would go, no, it's my decision. I've given the goal kick. No. I'm not. When they go, well, we can't overrule him. This business of it's not like even when the goalkeeper saves something and the referee gives a goal kick. All it needs is for VAR to go, no, actually, he touched it in the air, 2 seconds, and he goes, oh, it's a corner. What the fuck is this business of him having the final say? They're supposed to be
would you like them to explain their decision on the field, on the microphone?
Yeah.
They've just brought that into MLS, and it is very interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't see what the problem would be. Also, I also think if you get teams of referees and linesmen and fourth officials that work well together, if they become personalities and they explain stuff, and you realise he's a good guy, he's got a good personality, it adds a dimension to the game. I don't get this almost anonymity they want to have. I've got power, but I don't want to reveal it to you. Oh no, it's like being a mason.
No,
it's like
it's a load of old JK. It's a load of old bollocks. They need to sort it out. Right. What I'd like you lot to do to sort it out is to use the last opportunity this weekend to buy this. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, the last issue of the season of the wonderful CFC UK, which so many of the Chelsea fancasters write for. I'm proud to say it's a fabulous publication. This is a good time, by the way, people, to get your subscriptions in for next season because Dave will actually do a whole year's subscription. So if you want a year's subscription posted to you, so you don't have to pick it up from the store. I mean, obviously, if you're at the match, pick it up from the stall or one of the sellers. But if you can't make the matches, it's 20 quid in the UK, 45 quid in Europe, and 60 quid for the rest of the world. And you get a hard copy sent to you. And if you want a kind of a PDF version emailed to you or a digital copy, it's 6 quid for the season or a quid each. To subscribe, easy for me to say, you email fanzine@cfcuk.net and you can pay the price via PayPal. Now, the other thing that you might want to invest in while you're at it, I'd say this is a very good time to be buying a Chelsea Pitch Owners share. Right. For those of you who haven't quite got the message yet, if you do buy a share, it means you'll have a share of the freehold of the stadium, and that should protect it from being, flogged off in an underhand manner to a property developer in the future. But more to the point, what with all of the, we've got a bit of uncertainty about, when the new stadium is being built, if it will be redeveloping Stamford Bridge, will they try and put it somewhere else? It means you have a say in that. That's all. You have a voice. You have some real tangible power and say in what happens in terms of the future of Stamford Bridge, which is unique. No other football club, no other football supporters have this. It's really, really worth something. Now, it's about 110 quid for an electronic share or 175 quid for a framed share signed by a Chelsea player. I will get my teeth back in during the break, I promise. Anyway, if you want one, go to the chelseafc.com website, search for Chelsea Pitch Owners. They're on Twitter at Pitch Owners as well. So there you jolly well go. Right. We are about to go for a break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to the wonderful Matt, who is from, let me get this right. I can't remember. I can't remember. It's an act. He did tell me. You'll find out in a minute. See you in a sec.
Cundy, and you're listening to Chidge and the boys on the Chelsea Football Fancast. Total nutters and proper Chelsea.
Footballfancast.com.
There we go. Welcome back, everybody. I am Stamford Chidge. This is the Chelsea Fancast preview show, the last preview show of the season. And as a special treat, we have time for this.
The opposition view.
There we go. Of course, now we're on bloody YouTube. The secret is not a secret anymore because you can see that we have a guest. And the guest is Matt from UTCIAD. You're going to have to... I reckon the first 3 letters, Matt, it's a bit like, that game we all play, charades, isn't it? The first 3 letters are up the cherries.
Yeah.
But I'm bugging if I know what the IAD stands for.
It's in all departments.
Oh, right. Yes, I was thinking you should say until I die, but I'm saying no, that doesn't work. It's IAD.
Yeah.
In all departments. Yeah. How long have you been going as a podcast?
I think it's. I mean, I didn't start it. It was actually Craig that started it. I've just sort of come in and helped him out from time to time and do a few bits with him. So it's about, I think, coming up for 3 years. I think.
Yeah, good on you. Keep going. It's great fun. It's hard work.
Yeah,
it's great fun. It's great
fun,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, a bit like the Premier League season, really. It's the last match of the season. We're lucky enough to have you guys coming up to the bridge. I'll be honest with you. About 4 weeks ago, a lot of us just couldn't wait for the season to end. Now we're all like really miserable it's ending because we've actually been playing quite well. I mean, where are you on Bournemouth season? Has it been a good season for you guys? Have you been happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's our best points tally in the Premier League. Obviously, we had a stint in the Premier League before we first were promoted in 2015. So spent a couple of years in the Championship earlier on, sort of 2020 around that time. So across the periods of time that we've been in the Premier League, it's been our best points tally. The football that we're playing, I think, has been absolutely fantastic this season. Obviously, we've had a change of manager. Iriola's come in. He's done a fantastic job in making us play good football. It's good to watch on the eye. He struggled for his sort of first 9 games. We didn't look in a very healthy position at all. I think we played you guys in those first 9 games. We got a draw at home. We hadn't won by that time. So it was kind of squeaky bum time to begin with. But once it all clicked and everything fell into place and all the new signings gelled, it's been a great season. We've had some real good results along the way. So, yeah, overall, really pleased. And now I'm just kind of looking forward to what we do in the summer and how we start next season.
Yeah, exactly. So, however I put this, it's going to sound incredibly condescending and patronising. So forgive me if it does come out like that. But, I mean, for you guys, I would imagine the first priority is staying in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think now, since we've had the new ownership come in, they're not looking at, Bournemouth being, towards the bottom of the table anymore. And I think you can see from the money they invested last summer, and hopefully they'll invest more this summer, which I'm sure their plan is to improve the club and move the club further up the league. They don't want to see Bournemouth just fighting every year just to stay in the league. They want to make the club compete for European places. So that's their long-term plan. I can see why you say that. Totally. And the first, the bread and butter is staying in the Premier League, but from the owner's perspective, they want to kick on with the club. So yeah, it's all very positive, quite exciting down here, to be fair.
Well, quite right. I mean, you've given Iraola a contract extension, haven't you, up till 25, 26? I mean, I suppose. I mean, would you say that for Bournemouth, the model in a sense is, excuse me, the model in a sense is Brighton or Brentford, who have, small fan base, relatively small grounds, but have, been really shrewd about how they've gone about it, stuck around in the Premier League, and now you're seeing them. I mean, Brighton, I know, have tailed off a bit, but they were in the top 6 earlier in the season. They were in Europe. Brentford have had spells where they've been hovering around there too. I mean, basically, really challenging and competing for getting into Europe.
Yeah. I mean, the Brighton model is something that you can aspire to.
Not if you're Chelsea, I have to say, man.
Yeah, obviously.
And apparently, that's what we have been aspiring to.
But from our perspective, yeah, that kind of model is something that the new ownership, don't want to say we're basing it on exactly what Brighton have done, but I mean, we've got a brand new training facility that's being built, which is going to home all the football inside of the club. So everything from the first team to the ladies to the development squad and so on. So we have this state-of-the-art training facility, which is going to really, really pick us on. It's going to hopefully attract the best sort of talent locally, and also will attract decent players that want to move to the club, and then we can start work on the stadium. I think is the plan.
What is the plan for that? I mean, it is a small. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. We gripe about it, when we go down there, because it means we get a much smaller allocation. We usually, most Premier League grounds are going to be around 3,000. We sell that out very easily. I mean, there's always a massive demand for away tickets. So a lot of us get pissed off because it's a bit of, it's like rocking horse shit. It's really hard to get hold of a Bournemouth ticket. If you can get hold of one, those that do go absolutely love it. I mean, as I said earlier on, I love going down there. There's a couple of mates of mine's got a good Bournemouth mate, so we go into kind of one of your pubs and have a great time. It's lovely, So it's a good trip. So what are the plans? I mean, are you going to redevelop the existing ground or go and build on a new one?
Sounds like they're going to be building the new one behind the current ground,
right?
Where we've got our training facility. Obviously, we won't need that to be surplus because obviously we'll be moving down the road to a brand new state-of-the-art one. So I believe that's the plan, that they're going to be building behind the current stadium. I think they want an 18,500 capacity, I think it is, with the potential to increase the capacity if required. So yeah, I believe they want it ready for around 2027, 28 season, I think it is.
So Matt, would it be a bit like Brentford's community stadium? Because that's about 20, I think.
Yeah, I'd imagine it would be something of that kind of style and design. Yeah, I'd imagine so. That's what I mean. Like I say, 18,500 is what's been sort of bashed about. So, but until everything's sort of announced officially, that's kind of all we really know.
Yeah, it's all in a bit. I know that feeling as well. I mean, we've been talking about either redeveloping the bridge or heaven forbid, moving for over 10 years now. And then that got interrupted by, basically by the government deciding they didn't like Roman Abramovich anymore. And of course, now we've got the new owners. That was first on their list, but that's all gone, funnily enough, very quiet. I think Todd Bowley, bless his heart, came out with a great quote last week saying, the great thing about Chelsea is that it's regards building a new stadium. The great thing about Chelsea is that it's in the middle of London. The worst thing about Chelsea is that it's in the middle of London. And actually, to be fair to him, he's got a good point, because it's not easy, to build a new stadium around there, and it's not easy to redevelop it. So, yeah, I'm used to having to wait for that kind of thing. But there you go.
Yeah.
Dominic Solanke, we should talk about that young lad. Of course, he started life out as a highly rated Chelsea youth player and prospect, and got frustrated, as so many did at the time, but not getting a chance whatsoever, and went up to Liverpool, where he didn't really do very well. Went down to you, and he's done okay. I mean, I don't think he's been pulling up any trees, but this season he's been utterly fantastic. He scores a goal against us on Sunday, which I'm going to put a tenner on the fact that he will. I think he's going to get 20 goals this season, which is really, I mean, that's top level stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's come on leaps and bounds. Definitely this season. When he first joined us, he struggled a bit. Potentially, mainly because he had the likes of Josh King and Callum Wilson ahead of him. And I think the best thing for Dom was when we dropped back down into the Championship, and he had a couple of good seasons of scoring goals. And that's what a striker needs. Whatever level you play, you want to be scoring goals, build your confidence up. So he managed, I think it was 30 goals. I think it was when we got promoted from the Championship again. He struggled a little bit last season. Well, I say a little bit. I mean, he scored like 7 goals. I mean, it wasn't nothing to scream about. But there was an interesting article I read just before Iriola come to the club, and he said that if he joined Bournemouth, he would get the likes of Dom Solanke scoring goals, and he has. Like you say, he's been phenomenal this season. Even when he doesn't score goals, he's a good all-round footballer. He can drop back in, pick the ball up. He's a good pass with the ball as well. create space for others. I mean, he's all round. I mean, he's our player of the season. Has to be. But yeah, he's been really, really impressive this year. I mean, I'm not being biased. I'm not just because I'm a Bournemouth fan, but I think Southgate should take him to the Euros, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there's, I would say that's an area where there's not really too much competition for places. I mean, you've got Ollie Watkins, obviously, who's had a really good season. Harry Kane's a shoo-in. But, I mean, Callum Wilson, you've got to worry about his fitness, although he's good. I reckon he's definitely got a chance, that's for sure. I mean, I suppose more importantly, for you rather than England, is will you be able to keep him this summer? Because, I mean, if he's banging in 20 goals for Bournemouth, a lot of the bigger clubs are going to be, sniffing around, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's going to attract attention by the amount of goals he scored in the season he's had this year. I mean, the thing is, from I would say Bournemouth's perspective, is we're not in a position where we have to sell players. I mean, you go back 20 years ago, and that's how the club survived. So it would be down to the player. I think if the player wanted the move, I think that's the only way the club would sell. Otherwise, we don't need to sell him. I think it'd be down to depending on what offers come in, and if Don wanted to go. That's I think that's more worrying for me. I think is who might be sniffing around him, whether they can turn his head. We'll have to see on that one.
Yeah, it's the usual problem, is it? Are you worried about anybody else? Maybe going over the summer.
I mean, there's been a lot of good performances from players. I mean, like Justin Kluivert, he's been absolutely fantastic this season. He's really grown. We've got players like Zabanier, who plays at centre-back, a Ukrainian centre-back, good player. I know there's been eyes like City that have been sort of monitoring him even before he signed for Bournemouth. So there's a few names that, will attract. But depends on what the vision is for the club, what Iraola wants. And, there might be some players they need to trade to bring in anyway. So, it'd be an interesting window for us, I think. Yeah,
I mean, so who should we be worried about or watching out for on Sunday? I mean, I swear to God, I know Solanke's going to score against us. It's absolutely nailed on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Don's the big man. Like I just said, Kluivert, Samanier, who we signed from Bristol City last season. He's had an excellent season. So I would say probably them three. If they start, but then there's other players as well, like Marcus Tavernier.
Yeah,
he can be a tricky player on his day. He's class. And our midfield engine hasn't really been given. Well, they haven't been given much credit this season. But the likes of Lewis Cook and Ryan Christie have been absolutely fantastic this season. So, there's a few names there to watch out for.
Excellent. Well, we shall see, won't we? Now, here's the thing. This is quite a big match for us because I think we're now. We can't. I think we'll be sixth. So whatever happens, so we should be in at least the European Conference League. But if we win, it's so complicated. But if we win and Spurs lose, we might get fifth, or we will get fifth. Which would be quite nice because that would be the Europa League. Although a lot of us quite fancy the Conference League because we've not been in it before, and that means more exotic trips basically away. And of course, the chance for if we win that one, we can then generally say we have won it all, which we like to sing. So there's quite a lot riding on this match. Bottom line, Matt. Are you lot going to be on the beach? I mean, I've been really loving the joke I've been making for the last 2 weeks about the fact that we're playing, two teams in our last three matches, both of whom are metaphorically and literally on the beach. But will you really be on the beach? Because you haven't got much to play for, really, have you?
No. Obviously, there's not going to be much movement in the table for us, and we're not playing for obviously a European place, so safe in the league. So you could say that we might be slightly off the gas. But I mean, we've had a few good results up at Stamford Bridge in the past. So,
have you ever? I do my research on these things, and I look at the history of because, as we all know, football was only invented in the Premier League era, so there's no point looking beyond that. But he says, tongue firmly in cheek. But we've played you at home 6 times in the Premier League. Okay, we've won 3 and we've lost 3, all to nil. You beat us 1-0 in 2015. I don't need to tell you this; you'll know for sure.
Yeah.
3-0 in 2018 and 1-0 in 2019. I was horrified to be reminded of that. I have to say, I didn't expect that at all. The one that's seared on my memory is the 4-0 drubbing you gave us down there.
Yes. Yeah.
Conte's mad season where it all kind of fell apart.
Yeah. Midweek game, if I remember rightly.
Horrible game. We played like idiots that night.
Yeah. It wasn't a good Chelsea performance. David Brooks's goal sticks in my mind for some reason from that night, because I think that was a pretty decent goal. But so we've had some decent results against Chelsea. So, if we're on form on Sunday, we'd definitely give you a game. So,
yeah, because you're not a bad team. I mean, it's a bit of a funny, kind of mini league, that mid-table league, which is where we've been for most of the season. But there's not much between all of the teams in that little band. And they're all capable, without doubt, of beating anybody on their day. If they're on it, they can beat you. I mean, Brentford, Brighton, you guys, West Ham, Palace. They're what I would call quite tricky fixtures. Mind you, we find nearly everybody tricky, apart from people in the top 4. It looks like this season. But there we go. All right. So, given all of that, how do you see it going? And stick a score on it for me, Matt.
I'm gonna go. I think there's definitely going to be goals in it. I mean, I can't back us to fail, so I'm going to go with a. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2, because it was we've had a 2-2 against you in the not too dim and distant. I'm trying to remember when it was. It was a while ago, I think. I don't know. There we go. I've got it here. 2-2. Yeah. 2020. We drew 2. Well, that must have been a COVID game, I think.
Yeah, quite
possibly,
yeah.
February.
That sounds like that's the season we went down. I think that was the last game we had at the ground before COVID. I think, because I remember rightly, we should have won that one. We weren't clinical enough on a couple of chances, but we should have beaten you that day.
You're dead right.
We were relegated at the end of that season. So
you're dead right. That would have been just before the lockdown. I think we played Everton the next weekend, and then that was it.
Yeah.
So there we go. All right. Well, 2-2, fair enough. That would be no use to us whatsoever. But then again, we're just praying that Spurs go Spursy against Sheffield United and we win. If we do that, we're 5th, and that'd be, for us, considering the shit that we've been through for the last 2 years, that would be quite unbelievable. But there you go. Are you going to be coming along on Saturday? Sunday even. Saturday will be no good because we're not playing then.
No, unfortunately not this time. So I'll be watching on the telly. But I've been up to Stamford Bridge several times. It's always a good trip up there.
Good. Nice
and I've been lucky enough to witness the wins, I think.
Yeah.
And a defeat as well. So I've been up there several times. So
is it quite easy to get away tickets for you guys?
It's all done like on a point system.
Is it?
So yeah. No, I mean, if you've got enough points, it's easy enough to get tickets. Yeah.
Good on you, Matt. You've been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed talking to you about the game coming up on Sunday. Enjoy your summer, of course. Rest up, and we will all reconvene next season. Hopefully, we'll get you or Craig back on the show next season. But
definitely, we'd be happy to. Yeah, no worries.
No, we always love doing that. There we go. There's Matt. Where can they find your podcast and stuff?
So it Up the Cherries in All Departments is on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on pretty much every platform. I mean, Craig's one of these that splats it everywhere, so it's on pretty much everything. Twitter, I think he's got a page on Twitter as well with it, and Facebook. So it's on pretty much all social media, to be fair.
Good stuff. I will make sure I tag you in when this goes up tonight. But as I said, enjoy the match on Sunday. Obviously, I can't wish you luck and hope you win. we need the points. But I'm very glad you're staying up, and I look forward to wandering down to Bournemouth sometime next season. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you then. But
Yeah,
Matt,
excellent.
cheers. Great to see you, mate. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Matt from UTCIAD. Easy for me to say. We'll be back after this very short break.
Real fans, real opinions.
I'm Jason Cundy, and you're listening to the Chelsea Football Fancast. Up the Chelsea!
Football Fancast.
There we go. We're back. When I've removed that, there we go. Let's get the other boys in. There we go. Welcome back. It's the Chelsea Fancast, and thanks very much to Matt from Up the Cherries in all departments. There we go. Right, it's now time for us to preview the Chelsea versus Bournemouth game, and of course, we're going to start with a little bit of this. JK, his press summary. By the way, before you start, JK, I should apologise really for the appalling sound on that pre-record with Matt. I didn't, as you pointed out when we started the show, I didn't have my settings on my mic right. I didn't know. Shambles.
You were speaking through a chip fryer.
I know, it's terrible, wasn't it? I'm really sorry. Very sorry. Very, very, very sorry. It won't happen again. So there you go.
Can I do an impression of it?
You can. Oh, I've got another. I've got another breaking news before you start. I'm really sorry about this, but possibly because I have a feeling we won't be finished by then. But at 9:20, I'm supposed to be doing a talk with Talk Sport. So,
I'll do the presser very quickly. I'm happy to, because I was too long last week in the business.
I still don't think we'll be finished in time. But anyway, if we do, I shall just accept the call and we'll pick up when I've finished. Only about 10 minutes.
Excuse me while I just cough my guts out for a few seconds, if that's okay.
That's okay.
Oh, hang on, I've lost my notes here.
Oh, dear.
What was interesting about the presser? I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm actually going to take your suggestion, which I'm going to do a kind of suggestion of what I've seen of it, and then I'm going to take bits out of London, watching Football London, which I thought was quite cleverly done by them. They put it out of sequence on Football London, but they put the odd quote, and they seem to make sense of him. What was really apparent was that he was in a very good mood, and he was very positive and smiley and grinny. And on one occasion started flirting with the girl who always asks him a tactical question. And when she started to speak, and he said tactics with a smiley and movement of his shoulders, which I found really rather unattractive, actually. I thought, yeah, as if to say, I think you're rather nice, oh yeah. And she said, no, it's just a question about whether the team are doing better, and do you think, what is it down to the beginning of the season? And he said, that is 3 questions. And I was a bit sick. I thought, oh God, this is a bit horrible. I don't like the way this is going. But he was in a very, very good mood indeed. But at the same time, within which he could flit in and out with being serious about trusting the process, which is something that he actually said was to, you should have trusted the process. He was slightly rude about saying I've been vindicated. He felt he'd been vindicated for what he was trying to do. And his big thing that he said was, you do not know what's going on in training, which once again is something I've always said. We never know what's happening in training. And he said, you have made assumptions based on results, which he said is fair enough. And but you didn't know what was happening. We've had a really hard time with circumstance, he kept saying, circumstance. So you've got to give that to him. But interestingly, I made some notes about what he said in the press conference after the Brighton game, where he was very angry, and it was very different. And he actually said, he was asked, will finishing 6th be a success, by one of the guys there. And he says, I don't know. We have been all season talking, but it looks like my words are not important and no one cares. People only care about rumors and things like this. It's not important. The most important thing is winning games for me. It has been tough with all the circumstances. And he was asked, does this feel like your team? And he said, this is not my team. It's Chelsea team. It's not my team. What do you mean? You need 10 or 20 years like Wenger or Sir Alex until it is your team. And he then said, well, I'm so proud of the squad. So there was this itchy, this scratchy reaction on Wednesday. But today, he was much more in a better mood. And as you'd expect, because and what happened at the very beginning was it started by, he said, thank you, Brian. We're going to miss you so much. And everybody clapped hands. And we're going to miss you. You've been very supported towards me and my people. And the same with you here. Is it Adrian? I think, is he the press guy, Adrian? He said, and you as well. And I thought for a moment that he'd submitted his resignation. And the reality was they're both going. They're both. And he actually then said it. Poch said, if somebody coming in to listen to this might think actually that I'm going. He said, maybe I am. Big laugh, everybody. Grin, grin, grin. So it started very well like that. But I think Brian has been there for 50 years. I don't know who that would be, Chidge. Any idea who that would be?
He's the guy that introduced Mourinho to custard creams.
That one, okay. And Adrian is he the press guy? Because
I've no idea.
Anyway, they become big mates. And Emma. And and then just to put that fucking idiot who asks us the stupid questions all the time, the one who tried to who last week said, oh, great football, whatever, and he had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, Bowley, of course, talking about him, he's got that deep voice. He said, Brian's leaving, Adrian's leaving, Emma's leaving. Are you leaving? Everybody went. And I thought, we've just had that gag. We've just done that. Poch has just done that, mate. Why you're getting a laugh from this, I don't know. Anyway, but he said, asked about love from the fans. And he said, I don't expect anything. Fans don't know what we're doing. Only we know, which I thought was a very relevant thing to be saying. Fans don't know what we're doing. Only we know. So in a sense, he was being a little bit dismissive of us, but he was telling the truth, which is once again, they've got a plan. And the girl with them, yes, Poch is happy joshing with the girl and flirting, which I found slightly distasteful. And he's actually said, ask why Brighton will play 3-3-3. Oh, shoulders, go. And she then asked about loanees playing next year, which he liked. And he said, because they've all come in, all of them have come in. And he said, yes, I've seen a few, but we need to talk to the sporting directors. So basically, remember we had a discussion that perhaps Omar Hutchinson might be considered for this week, but absolutely not. They've got all the first team are ready to play, other than those who are injured or awaiting. What's the expression they use? Sitting back, waiting to be analysed. What's the expression there? Undergoing
rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, absolutely. But then Poch took the piss out of himself, quoting his wife, as you said earlier. Even my wife says, I don't know what you wanted. I don't know what you're talking about. Huge laugh. Huge laugh. He didn't even say it very well. He didn't even set it up very well, Poch. It wasn't very funny, but they got it because he said, even my wife, huge. Best laugh of the season. Everybody very, very relaxed. Fantastic. And she asked about, are you proud? He said, too many questions. No. Not my team, blah, blah, blah. And then they had a thing about, he suddenly said, my wife, she said to me, I know I need to use the word capitalize, that exists, capitalize. And another one, capable. Somebody said capable. Yes, she tells me I must use those words. So in reality, clearly his wife, like us, looks at them and says, nobody can fucking understand you. You've got to get a grip. As I've been saying all season. So we need to get, He's got to go to have some lessons, for God's sake. Otherwise, everything nobody understands in that business he was saying about we hope, we all have hope. We I don't know. I don't know. I leave for no. He was talking bollocks, and everybody started to try and interpret it in a way that was completely wrong. But to be fair to him, he didn't know. There was a period clearly we didn't know where he was going to be in the job next season, and he clearly is now, obviously, in the job next season, because it wouldn't be, have been making these good noises, and Bowley wouldn't. The only time that Bowley comes is when he says something in the financial symposium saying, yes, the progress is being made and it's exactly right, we're trusting the process. But I'll just give you a few snippets of what was said in the rest of it. But for me, that was the kind of gist of the whole thing. He was asked about a turning point on the form, and he said there wasn't one. It was the process working. When everyone wants to attack you, once again, he talked about being attacked. When people want results, they don't show patience. That's why the experience is so important in football. No doubt about yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt the way you work or play, because sometimes we don't get what we want. Football is about belief and building links between the players. Sometimes we can be wrong, but with more experience, more capacity and knowledge. I don't think he's talking about getting a player in. I think in experience of the side, we're seeing it was only a matter of time to improve. So he was pretty certain that this would happen, which is commendable, really. On Chelsea he was asked whether Chelsea were entertaining because they scored so many goals. And he said, I'm not this type of coach that loves to show that I love myself. I'm not arrogant to say we're playing entertaining football. We play the football we feel. Too many coaches share the same idea of football. It's not our only idea to entertain with our football. I think what he's saying is he likes possession. They attack because they can. So it's as simple as that. I don't think he's specifically saying we must be entertaining. It happens because that's his style of football. He was asked whether Nkunku will start. And he actually said that he came on too soon and they were worried because he was on for 70 minutes and he was exhausted. So this managing the players who have been injured is something that they're really concerned about.
Yeah.
So he's not convinced that he'll start. In which case, I suspect Sterling will come in, but we'll get on to that a bit later on.
Should we do it? Should we do it now?
No. Can I just finish this? If you want me to, I'm happy to.
No. If you you've got more to say, say it.
Just a couple of more things that he was asked if he wanted the season to end or not, and he said yes, but we don't want it to end, but we're tired. It's tough. It's been the whole staff deserve a rest, which I sympathise with. I think they've been.
I know the bloody feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like us, they've been pulled from pillar to post. The most important thing is we start to compete next season in different ways. On Chelsea's approach, depends how you approach. If negative things happen, you can turn it to be positive for the future. I think an example of that would be he stumbled upon the team that could only be selected by the injuries. We got a team that worked towards the end of the season that was purely because that was all that there was left. And yet they played fantastically. On Chelsea's run of form being a response to the Arsenal loss, he said it's not a coincidence. Before we played Arsenal, we played Man City, but before we played Everton and we beat them 6-0. There have been so many injuries, the team had no time to recover. So he's basically saying they were all exhausted after the disappointment of the weekend to lose in the cup semi-final, then to play on the Tuesday. The team were tired both physically and mentally, which is interesting to say because we were very critical and perhaps we were a bit hard on them.
We don't like losing to Arsenal 5-0. That doesn't help. Yeah.
And then he made a gag on Silva. He was asked about Silva. Are we going to miss him? He said, we're going to miss him like Brian and Adrian. Wasn't very funny, but they all laughed. He's been fantastic. For sure, we're going to miss him. Anyway, what a big character we're going to miss. Has he spoken to Reece James? It was a really difficult situation. We need to help him. He needs to accept the punishment. The most important thing is we back him and trust him. He needs to be ready for pre-season to build his fitness. Next season, he will be for sure one of the best players in the Premier League. Yeah. And that is a really interesting statement because I agree, and we all agree that he has once again, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. And if he maintains his fitness and the levels and he doesn't lash out and act like an arse, he will be one of the best players in the Premier League without a shadow of doubt. I don't know where he's going to play him. That's an interesting thing. Where he will play him, I'm not sure. But because if Gusto is there, will he? Well, I mean, it was interesting when Gusto was playing. He played him as a kind of extra winger, didn't he? But anyway, message to the fans, because he was asked whether they liked whether he was being loved, and he said, "Look, my message is trust in the process, trust the team. We will then feel the responsibility to deliver our job." What's he learnt about himself? Well, every day's a challenge to learn. Every situation's experience we want to capitalize. Capitalize when he went, is that the word? Capitalize? Capable? Am I capable? My wife says I can't. Yeah, thank you. It's important to learn from every situation. Football is a very dynamic sport. Yeah, I think we've got that. Now, last thing on his quotes on being misinterpreted. Yes, maybe I need to blame myself. Yes, when I speak with my wife, sometimes she's a little bit lost also. Yes, absolutely. The most important thing is the club and the badge. I'm not this type of person to say it's my team. What does that mean? On players returning, well, I've said that he saw a few players arrive. VAR being scrapped or not, I'm not involved in the process. I like VAR, as I said before. The way we need to improve is how we use VAR, but we need to be open and welcome the new technology. Yes. On the season, this because of the circumstances which he talks about, which is injuries and not starting well. It was tougher than we thought. In the way we are finishing the season, I'm happy about that. We're unlucky. We feel disappointed because 1 or 2 months more, we could be very close to the position, which I think is absolutely fair. To finish this way gives the hope to start well next season. Now, the problem is if he starts shit next season, we will be doubting whether he's the man for the job. So the pressure is on him again. And what needs to happen in the summer, and he dodged it. You need to ask the sporting directors and the owners. On Bowley asking for patience, well, you've got to have the backing of the owners. Yeah. On the home record being strong, does he expect love from the fans? Look, I do not expect nothing. Oh, Poch, don't say that. Fucking double negative, you git. Natural things will happen. I'm going to show my respect to the fans. We'll always try to be very respectful. Does he hope Spurs will lose? Not really. I never wish bad things to the club. We need to do our job. He's always so nice about everybody. You've got to give him that.
No, he's a lovely man.
Top 6 finish. It's really important for us to finish in the way we're doing now. Confidence, the way we're playing in the last few months. One of our objectives to finish in Europe next season. Well, it looks we've done it. We're going to be in the conference, aren't we? Regardless, John.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, the press officer at Chelsea was Adrian. He's leaving. So that's it. That's what I've got to say with that. And I think it was an very interesting press conference because, I say, he felt vindicated and was very cheery. And we go into Sunday having surpassed anything that we believe they would have achieved after the first 10 games of the season. Who would have thunk it, Chidge?
Who would have thunk it? I totally agree. Right, well done, JK. So my team selection for Sunday.
Love it.
There we go. It's not. You won't be surprised. I mean, I'm sticking with the same side. Well, I'm kind of sticking with the same side. I am going much as I said the other week. There's only really one change. Petrovic in goal. Cucurella, the super inverted poodle, as the left back. Thiago Silva, who it's interesting, isn't it? Because I predicted he might not start against Brighton. He'd be rested. So Silva, for his last ever appearance for Chelsea. Badiashile out. Chalobah in. Well, he's not in. He stays. And Gusto as the right back. He may well not play Gusto because Gusto, he may feel, is still not fit. But that's what I would do. Gallagher and Caicedo, obviously, as the two in the middle. And then Madueke on the right. Palmer is the number 10. Sterling comes in because I did toy with the idea of having Jackson on the left and Nkunku up front. But, I mean, having heard the presser, I just don't think he'll start Nkunku. So it'll be Sterling on the left, Jackson up top. That's what I reckon. Dayne.
Exactly the same, but I'd have Nkunku instead of Sterling. I didn't watch the presser, so I appreciate that you might have a little bit more info than me. But yeah, I'd like to see Nkunku. I think Nkunku really frees up Jackson, and you get a different dimension to Jackson's game when Nkunku plays. And if we can get an hour out of him, like we did the other day, might be asking too much. What's the rest? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, game Sunday? Possibly. I'd really like to see Nkunku start. You know, I've seen so many of these players all season. in good and bad days, and I'd like to see Nkunku on Sunday.
No, I couldn't agree more. I'd much rather have Nkunku in there than Sterling, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, JK, from the presser, it's pretty clear he won't start Nkunku, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not going to do that. Yeah. He said he's tired and they only wanted him to play much shorter time on Wednesday, but he was forced to have him come on earlier, and he was completely exhausted by the 70 minutes. So I don't think he's going to start, no.
No. Are you happy with the rest of my selection?
I'm intrigued as to whether Silva will start, actually.
Oh, he will start, mate. It's his last match.
I know, but he could bring him on with a fanfare and then, take him off with a fanfare. I suppose alternatively, he could put him on and then take him off after after the second with a fanfare. It'd be like John Terry going off, wouldn't he, in that
Drogba being carried off, remember that?
Yeah, remember that one. Yes.
The most choreographed exit of all time, wasn't it?
Yes.
That got a lot of stick because it interrupted the match, and everybody were in high dudgeon about it, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They were completely.
Fuck
I don't know. To be fair, I don't know how they got away with it, actually. Must give huge kudos to Cucurella, who played fantastic.
Oh, the super inverted poodle. I love him.
Yeah, who has absolutely turned the fans round, who keeps singing his song.
You know what gets me about him is how everyone else seems to really dislike him. All the opposition. They always want to have a go at him, always want to foul him, they always want to pull him and prod him. And even the Brighton, listen, I know he's playing for us now, but they weren't even giving him much love. They weren't even like a little wry smile like an ex-teammate. It was strange.
No,
well, also the fans booed him. They booed him and Caicedo even towards the very end every time they got the ball. It was tedious. They weren't as wound up as they were last season with the 4-1, but they were still keen to boo both. I think the two goals suppressed the dismay of having them play. But he's been excellent, and
should have made more effort in supporting their team.
I don't think that I don't think Chilwell gets in. I don't think Chilwell gets in next season.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Next season is a different gravy, isn't it?
I know it's a different season, but I'm intrigued as to see what would happen. To see what pattern we may get a couple of new players, as we've talked about.
We'll see. I want to talk about that in a minute because it fits in with something about Silva.
I agree with your selection, Chidge. Other than I think he might play Badiashile and Chalobah and bring Silva on.
Well,
he might play Alfie Gilchrist instead of Gusto if Gusto's still.
We'll see. I think he'll be that. I can't see him not starting Silva. Just can't see it happening.
Right, well, I'm not sure he'll start Gusto because Gusto was injured.
Well, I reckon that could be that's a fair point. In other words, it could be Silva, Badiashile, Chalobah, which he's gone for a lot, hasn't he, recently? And I can see that.
Yeah.
Right. Now let's get this straight. If we draw, we get Conference League. Sorry, I think if we draw and win, we get Conference League. Or draw or win, we get Conference League. If we win and Spurs lose, we get Europa League. If City win the cup, we get Europa League. I'm still rather confused by all this. I'm sure somebody knows this definitively. I mean, I know we're in Europe, basically. If nothing happened, we'd still be in Europe. But I know that if we need to win and Spurs lose for us to get Europa Cup, and then I get really confused with if City win the cup and all that malarkey. I don't know if it's Conference League or Europa League. Can you either of you two shed any light on that?
No, I have no fucking clue.
No, I've still not. It's a bit like, actually, I should have mentioned this earlier. It's a bit like the season ticket increases that we've heard about just before we went on air. Basically, general admission going up 5%. They didn't really say anything about season tickets other than we'll lose the 3% discount. But if you add the 3%, losing the 3% discount to the 5% increase, the season ticket prices have gone up by 8%, which they didn't say. But that's what they mean, right? Exactly. Yeah, you're confused. You will be. I've got definitive from Dino here, Dane. Dino, unlike me, does his homework. He says 5th and 6th Europa League, 7th equals Conference League. Yeah, but if Man United win the FA Cup, they take the 2nd Europa League and we go down to the Conference. Yeah. If we stay on 6th, if we move above Tottenham into 5th, we get Europa. That's from Caroline Waters. So I think Caroline trumped you there, Dean, with a more accurate assessment of what's going on. I'm glad we have solved that. Right, as we've been alluding to a minute ago, hang on a minute. I'm getting a text, so I'm going to try and talk and text. It's TalkSport texting me. Yes! Good. I'm running late too. Hopefully that'll take their pressure off. Okay, yeah. So we were alluding to it a minute ago. It's Thiago Silva's last game for Chelsea. He has been phenomenal for this club. I mean, I can't think of many players down the years who have come in at the age that he was and have made such an impact. I mean, I think this has a lot, JK, to do with the way he's engaged with the supporters. And it's interesting, isn't it? We always talk about Pochettino being, so disconnected from the supporters, and that he needs to engage with them, and then that they will love him. Thiago Silva, from the word go, got us on side. We got Bala Silva in the away end for most of the matches. Always goes to the away. He just gets it, doesn't he? And I think that's why we've all fallen in love with him. Because he won the Champions League, so that kind of elevates him almost to legendary status anyway, doesn't it? But if you look at him compared to some other players that have come in like he did, he seems to have been exalted far greater than them and perhaps less deserving. But there's no doubt about it. He leaves the club as an absolute legend, I think. He's been fucking phenomenal, JK, and I love him. We will miss him.
Yes, he's been, despite not learning the language. His
hope for Poch yet. Then
there is. There was that great moment when we were doing well in the Champions League, and he and Mason Mount were celebrating on the stairs. You remember that? That was one of the great bonding moments for me. It's funny, isn't it, how these little things, you realize that it means so much to the players, and you could see that he was really he was an exceptional person, as well as being a wonderful player. His ability to see his vision of all the games, of what was going on, and also where he should be standing and on the pitch from his positional play is peerless. And it meant he did what all top players can do, which is, despite them being past their sell-by date, they're still absolutely excellent in the playing environment, because they're moving less. They don't need to. They judge games so wonderfully, and he was a completely class act. And as we've said before, it would be wonderful if we'd got him earlier. I'm sure he had no idea what it was going to be like playing for Chelsea or playing in the Premier League. I think he would have loved to have missed one of those earlier clubs out, missed PSG out or something, and come straight to us. I don't think he never even envisaged coming into the Premier League. So the fact that it was Frank, wasn't it? Frank was very keen to get him in. So huge credit to Frank for having spotted him as being a major influence. And he was. You could tell he was a completely brilliant, influential professional. But yeah, one of the great players over the last few years. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And a joy to watch. Is this big thing I've always got is you only have a certain time with players, because life goes on. And it was my big thing about Hazard, was I kept saying you've got to appreciate Hazard, because he'll only be here for a brief time, because he'll move on somewhere else. But you have to appreciate the 90 minutes. You've got to appreciate the time that they've been there. And we will miss him, and we'll be talking about what a fantastic player he was, and how joyous it was watching him, and also how he influenced players around him, and his calmness and his skill and his ability to, particularly when he arrived, those wonderful moments where he could just head the ball under a stressful situation with a centre forward putting pressure on him, and he could just head the ball down to a Chelsea player rather than heading it. No, but his ability he just bossed it. He's just a fantastic, brilliant player. So
he was indeed. He still is, in fact. Dayne, what are your final thoughts on Silva? I mean, there's going to be a huge tifo for him from the Shed End boys, I think, on Sunday, from what I understand. Well deserved.
Rightly deserved. An absolute Rolls Royce of a player. He's been such a pleasure to watch. Even when you showed the fans in earlier, like the hairs just went up on my arm. It's such a pleasure to watch him. I remember sort of listening to his interviews recently, which he'd done, and he said it was hard for him to come in because he came in lockdown, so the fans wasn't in the stadium. And he came in and just on the training field, everyone embraced him straight away, which you see a stranger and a foreigner coming in. And he said, when the fans come in, he just said, I felt a connection straight away, which I wasn't really expecting. thanked Frank a lot, didn't he? That was the only manager who really thanked.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just this calmness is everything about him. You know, he just oozes class. You know, his the wife, the kids. I believe they're still staying over here, aren't they, in London? Because the two boys are in the academy. It's going to be a sad moment on Sunday, but JK's right. You know, let's just be thankful that we've got to see this world-class player who leaves a legend. You know, he just says the right things. You know, I'd like to come back one day. You know, this is not over. Yeah, it could be a tear in my eye moment. It's even making me want to buy a shirt and just put his name and number on the back, which is quite rare with what I do regarding shirts nowadays. But yeah, an absolute class of a man.
Yeah, definitely was. Well, we will miss him, and I think he'll be emotional on Sunday. I think a few tears may be shed, certainly from him, and I think wouldn't be surprised if a few of us had a bit of a blub either. Right now, we've got some ridiculously, good form at the moment. It's 4 straight home league wins. That's our joint strongest run since 2020. Mopo has lost only once in 9 matches against Bournemouth, so he's got a good record against them. And they've lost 3 of their last 4 away games. Although, you know, as we were saying to Matt earlier, they've got a good record against us. I mean, we've won 3 at home against Bournemouth and lost 3 against home against Bournemouth since 2015. So since they've been in the Premier League. So that's all kind of, I'm surprised by that. I mean, we've won 13 in all, drawn 2 and lost 5. If you go back pre-Premier League. Their form is pretty up and they've won 3 and lost 2 of their last 5. They lost to Arsenal 3-0 away. They lost 3-1 to Villa away, which are kind of fairly comparative. They lost to Brentford at home 2-1, and they beat Brighton 3-0 at home, and they beat Wolves 1-0 away. So it's kind of, you know, the reality is, boys, you know, here's the rub. You would expect us to be absolutely bang on it for Sunday. There's a chance of 5th at stake here. We're in good form. They're playing well. Everybody's quite happy at the moment. The fans are all back on side. Bournemouth have got fuck all to play for. They're on the beach, literally and metaphorically. I mean, surely to God, Dane, we can't screw this up. Surely. I mean, my one caveat is I know Dominic Solanke will score. So whatever the predictions that we give out, it'll be Chelsea, Bournemouth 1. But other than that, I can't, you know, can you see us screwing this up? Yes.
Well, my prediction says no. I think it was the Brighton game. You know, not that I'm dismissing how well we've been playing recently. I just had this feeling, you know, if we just get through this Brighton game, then I am convinced on a lot more things than I were obviously a few weeks back. And yeah, I think we're going to go out with a bang. I think we're going to end the season well, and I think we're going to score quite a few goals personally.
Okay, go on, stick a number on it.
Well, I had 4 in my head.
Oh,
So I would say 0, but if you're convincing me that Solanke's going to score, then I'll say 4-1.
yeah, okay, I like that. JK?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. 4-1.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Because Dane said it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that all you got to say about that?
Okay. 0-3. No. I weirdly think one of the few occasions we've been beaten by them recently was when we were supposedly so much better than them that we sort of seemed to go at it with a kind of, oh my God, what the fuck are we doing? Because we are, you know, we're higher than them, and we're playing in Europe, and we're an elite team. The very fact that we're now a team that are finding themselves, I rather like, because I think it means that they haven't got any ideas above their station, and I think they'll approach it in the same way they've been approaching all these other games. So constantly, I think they'll not go with any expectation that they're not very good. Bournemouth, they'll go in thinking, actually, yeah, we can beat this lot and if we play well, and we'll have another 26 passes and tap the ball in the net. And I think they'll win easily. I think 4-1 is fair enough, Dane. Yeah,
Well,
and you're absolutely right. He will score, Solanke, of course.
Yeah, of course.
In the same way that when Welbeck came on, I said
it. We said it on Monday, didn't we? We predicted it. Yeah. I mean, do you know what? We're going to go for. I'm thinking 4-1 too. I've just got a feeling we'll be really bang on it and we'll give it a go. I think if we get an early goal, that will really help because I think these teams that are halfway on the beach, once they get, it makes it all a bit too difficult and they won't be asked. So we need to score first and early. But I'm feeling confident. I'm going to go for 3-4-1s. When's that ever happened? Bloody hell. Crikey. Talking of predictions, you may want to know it's the last weekend of the Prem Predictions League. And I can tell you that the Chelsea Fancast, we are top of the mini league. And I think unassailable. We're 231 points ahead. So that's going to be hard to beat. So the person who is in 5th place, who is, I think it's Sean O'Sullivan, mate, you've got I can't actually read it. It's too small. If I go bigger screen, Sean O'Sullivan is in 5th. It's all on you, mate. You've got to make sure you do well on Sunday, and then we will win the mini league, which is bloody marvellous. Well done, everybody. In our own little version of the league, Brendan Mallard is still in top spot. He's been in there for a while. Danny boy, Dan Silver's the top Chelsea fancaster. He's in 13th. Thank God he's above Chris Sutton, who is in 16th. Our mission this season has been for at least one of us to beat Chris Sutton, and hopefully Dan will do that. Next down, Kerry Bloody Dixon is now 23rd and above me in 24th. I shall have words with Kerry tomorrow. So me and him have been duking it out for the last few weeks. Dane is in 29th and Martin is 35th, for those of you who want to know where the fancasters are. Jonathan Murray, Mark Woolbridge, John Parkinson are 2nd, 3rd and 4th, so you know. Steve Moe is 6th. I could go on, but I won't because we're running out of time. But well done to all of you for taking part. One final push this coming Sunday to see who will win the Chelsea Fancast Prem Predictions League. Will it be Brendan? Will he stay top? I'm pretty sure we're going to win the mini league. I bloody hope so. It'd be fantastic if we do. And if we do, the top 10 people in our league get free entry next season. So well done. Good stuff.
I got free entry for my one Monday of brilliance when I got 156 points.
I know you did. Yeah, you did very well. It's been fun this year. I mean, I'm quite happy with how I've done. I'm disappointed I haven't finished in the top 10, but I'll settle for 25th there or thereabouts.
Well, I think I'm 1,400th now. I think run about there.
Are you that high? I'm surprised.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's very good. Righty ho.
It is. I know you want to go.
I do, mate. I've got 2 minutes.
I know, but I just want to talk about me and the Prem.
Well, I could mute you. That would help if you like. Yeah. JK and I will be back on Monday night, as it says on the screen, 7:30 p.m. Joined by Mark Meehan, which will be great fun. Can't wait to see Mark. And we'll be looking back, of course, at our last match of the season, which is at home to Bournemouth on Sunday. Now, we haven't done an in off the post this month yet. It's a bit busy. We will get round to it. So you've got time. If you want your email or any other message read out on the show, it's chelseafancast@gmail.com. And for one last time this season, to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/Chelsea Fancast. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and you'll help support the Chelsea Fancast. Right, you can follow me at Stamford Chidge, Jonathan at Jonathan Kydd, and Dane at DWit9. Boys, lovely to see you as always for our last preview show of the season. It's been emotional, Dane.
Oh, yeah, it's always an absolute pleasure to come on here. Sorry I couldn't get involved in the comments. Once again, I forgot to bring my YouTube sign in, so I'll have to remember that for next time.
You will. Will we see you on Sunday? Are you around?
Yeah, I might actually pop down if you let me know where you are, whereabouts. So I'll try and pop down and see you. Obviously, we all, as I said to you last time, forget we're all on Matthew Arding Upper, so we should obviously meet at some point. Not to have a singer, but at least meet.
There is that. Well, hopefully I'll see you in one of the pubs before or after. I'm on the train. I'm out. I shall be on the lash on Sunday, whatever happens. JK, my dear old thing, last preview show of the season. It's lovely to have had you on all season with me, and I enjoy seeing your little face on a Friday immeasurably.
A little face, thank you.
Have fun.
I've enjoyed being on the show immensely, and I'm sorry if I've had the odd moment of being completely exhausted and contributing absolutely fuck all of interest. But I've actually got a bit.
Never.
Occasionally, Mr. Doer, I can't think of anything to talk about. But the last few weeks, I thought, fuck it, I feel fine. So it's been good. It's been fun. But yes, we have a select few of excellent people who are our friends and guests as part of our show.
We do.
And I commend them, and
we do.
How excellent they are. And yes, what a good show it is. Well done, everybody. You've all done very well, as we all know. Yes,
you have. We got to go. Thanks for listening. See you on Monday. Until then, keep it blue, keep it carefree, keep it Chelsea.
Chelsea!